What miracle were they looking for? They saw dangerous dimensions of God. But at the slightest opportunity, they bowed to Baal. They committed adultery with Ashtaroth. So if you are going to receive anything from him, it's going to be spiritual. The essence of it will be spirit. What I'm saying to you is, if you don't have a prayer altar, you are shortchanging yourself. There are many promises in scriptures. You will not be able to enter. You will not be able to enjoy your Christian life. Look at what he says here. He said that you may have the richest measure of the divine presence. Oh my God, Talivanakai. The richest measure of the divine presence. Like I was saying on Sunday, when you become a mobile router, anywhere you enter, you afflict the place with the fragrance of heaven. We are supposed to be merchants. That the merchandise that we give to men is divine presence. Divine presence. But you see, the average Christian is satisfied with just attending church, enjoying service. He doesn't know that there is more. He's a container, he's a vessel. He's supposed to be like a sponge. Have you seen a sponge before? A sponge soaks in water. When you squeeze it, the water comes out of it. When men touch you, they should touch God. When they hear you, they should hear God. When they see you, they should literally see God. Because you should have the richest measure of what? Divine presence. If there is no place that you have created for that intercourse between physical and spiritual to happen, you will not know this experience. When the Bible says that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, speaking about the mysteries of the wisdom of God that were hidden from the beginning of the age, saying that no man can know the things that are in the heart of the man except the spirit of the man. Likewise, no man knows the things that are in the heart of God except the spirit of God. And the spirit of God searcheth all things, even yea, the deep things of God. Those kind of deep things that exist in the realm of God, you qualify yourself for such engagements and experiences when you have built an altar. Are we together to that point? So what is an altar? Before we talk about what is a prayer altar, let us go to the Bible to see what an altar is. So what I like to do is that I go to the Bible to find out where the word was used the first time. And the first place I find is in Genesis chapter 8. Genesis chapter 8 and verse 20. Is somebody getting blessed? Genesis chapter 8 and verse 20. Go back to New King James. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took of every clean animal and of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Number 2, next verse 21. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake, although the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. So go back to 20. He built an altar to the Lord. So there are two people in this equation. You have Noah and you have who? The Lord. So an altar, like we've been trying to say, even when Ovi was leading prayer, an altar is a place of engagement, a place of intimacy and relationship between divinity and humanity. That's what an altar is. So you see, he built an altar to the Lord. So even in the negative supernatural, altars are built. So you will have a human being who erects a platform, and the whole idea of that platform is to provide legal grounds for engagement between mortal and spirit. So somebody in a territory can build an altar to Oloku. Somebody in a territory can build an altar to Shango. Somebody can build an altar to all kinds of strange demons. Because what altars are is that it provides a legal premise for physical and spiritual, divine and human, to find common ground and engagement. That's number one. Number two, he took of every clean animal of the of every clean animal and every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Number two, an altar is a place of sacrifice. A place of sacrifice. An altar is a place of sacrifice. That means an altar is useless if there is not a consistent sacrifice on it. An altar is not just to fill space and time. It is there to provide the legal premise. Then, once the legal premise has been established for the spirit to be able to invade the realm of men, such that there's common ground for intimacy and intercourse, then the spirit will begin to demand sacrifices. The one to whom the altar has been erected will now begin to demand sacrifices, and the one who erected the altar will be obligated by covenant to provide those sacrifices. That's why even in the negative supernatural, when you find a priest of darkness, he knows or she knows the demands that the strange spirit has put upon her, and she does everything to keep it. That altar will demand sacrifices. So number two, the altar is a place of sacrifice. Number three, go to the next verse. Go to the next verse. And the Lord smelled a soothing aroma. Then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Number three, the altar is the place for seeking supernatural and divine favor and assistance. Supernatural and divine favor and assistance. Now, in ancient Israel, if you read through scriptures, if you're a student of the Bible, you will understand that when the Bible says the Lord smelled a sweet aroma, what does it actually indicate? It means that the person who has brought that offering has found favor in God's sight. That to offer that sacrifice, because the word that is translated offering in the Hebrew is a word that comes from another word that means to draw near. If I remember correctly, if I remember my Hebrew a little, it should be korban or kaban, something like that. That word actually means to draw near. So when you are bringing a sacrifice in the Hebrew, what you are doing is that you are doing what? Drawing near. Now when you have drawn near, it's like when you approach a king, it's not enough that you came, you must find favor in his sight. Are you here? This is why when Mordecai was trying to put Esther under pressure, Esther said, no man goes to the king unless he sends for you. So how you will know that if he does not send for you and you appear there, then you must find what? Favor. He will have to stretch his scepter to you. Otherwise, the guards that are guarding the palace, you have breached protocol. They will automatically bundle you and sentence you to death. That's how it worked. That's why Esther said, anyway, since he has not sent for me, just fast. I will go and show myself, and if I perish, I perish. She was expecting that if she doesn't find favor in the eye of the king, automatically the guards are going to bundle her and sentence her to death, even though she was queen. This is why the Bible says that when she arrived at the king's palace, he stretched forth his scepter to her. That was to say to the people, I have smelled a sweet savour. Are you here? And she has found favor in my sight. There are scriptures in the Bible that give us an indication that the aroma is actually for favor, a sweet smell is for favor, and a bad smell is for judgment. It's in the Bible. Let me show you one. Give me Exodus 34:30. It's either 34:30 or 30:34. Let me see 34:30. Is that 34 in Exodus? Give me Exodus. No. Give me 30:34. 30:34. No, this is not what I'm looking for. Let me find it. Let me find it. That was when Jacob was speaking to his children. Genesis, not Exodus. Genesis 34:30. Yes, Genesis, not Exodus, Genesis. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and since I am few in number, they will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I. Do you remember this story? What happened here? Dinah was raped. Good. That's what happened here. Now that word that is translated obnoxious, does anybody have a lexicon? A Bible with a lexicon? Audrey, what does it say? Click on it. Click on obnoxious. Obnoxious. In the New King James, click on it if you have a lexicon. What does it say? Who has a lexicon? Click on obnoxious. Okay, just give me another translation. If you click on that word, let me click on it in my own Bible. But give me NLT. Genesis. Is that 34:30? Yes. Obnoxious, let me read it to you. The Hebrew word is spelled B-A-A-S. A primitive root meaning to smell bad. Figuratively, to be offensive morally. So that word obnoxious is B-A-A-S, and it actually means to what? To smell bad. That's why in the NLT it's translated, you have ruined me, you have made me what? Stink among all the peoples of this land, among all the Canaanites. We are so few that they will join forces and do what? Crush me. Give me Exodus chapter 5 and verse 20. Exodus chapter 5 and verse 20. Leave it in NLT. Exodus chapter 5 and verse 20. And then as they came out, as they left Pharaoh's court, they confronted Moses and Aaron who were waiting outside for them. 21. The four men said to them, may the Lord judge and punish you for making us what? Before Pharaoh and his officials. You have put a sword in their hands and what? An excuse to kill us. So a sweet smell was a sign of what? And a bad smell was a sign of what? Wrath, judgment. So when the Bible says that as Noah put the animals on the altar, the Lord smelled a sweet smell. What happened was that Noah was standing as the representative of humanity. Man found favor in the sight of God. And the consequence of that favor was divine assistance. God said, I will no longer curse the earth on account of man. So that's what an altar is for. An altar is for you to be able to receive divine assistance and favor. That is the spirit to whom you have erected the altar. Because of your sacrifice, will now release favor upon you and then supernaturally assist you to accomplish what the spirit originally had in his heart. Are we good to that point? So what is a praying altar or a prayer altar?